We've got a longtime friend, Ben Hebert, with us here, a guy that wears a lot of hats. He can cover a lot of ground. He can talk about a lot of things. And Jack Fulton's watching Ben from Vulcan, Alberta. He says the CFL needs to listen to Ben. Change is good. I don't think we even got into CFL talk last segment.
No,
I don't even know why he's talking about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bo Levi's best friend right here. I'm correct in saying that.
No, we're good buddies. I don't know if I'm his best friend. If I'm his best friend, he maybe doesn't.
He's in trouble.
Money. Yeah, exactly.
One half of the Ben and Bo podcast is Ben Hebert. He's now of Team Bottcher. Doesn't sound right, but it will. And the viewers are writing in, and I'm just going to jump right into it. Ted in Red Deer's watching. He says, are all of the changes for Ben and others a result of a planned run to the Olympics?
A little bit. I think it's probably different for every individual. I think, I'm too old and experienced to look at the next 3 years as nothing years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of, big events, Grand Slams, Briers, World Championships to play on. Until then, would I like to go to another Olympic Games and represent Canada and Italy? Of course. I mean, that'd be a dream of everybody. But, if we rattled off 10 Grand Slam wins and 3 Briers along the way and lost the trials semi, I'm probably going to be okay. But yeah, I mean, I think our ultimate goal would be that. But, you can't just focus on just that, right? There's a long journey and a long road there to go through until that time, and a lot of hard work that needs to be put in to even give yourself a chance to win that. Mm-hmm. That's a 1 week. That's a 1 week, get hot and steam up, and if you play well, you get a chance to go. And I think, I learned lots this year with playing with my current team with Kevin Cooey. We lost to Brad Jacobs, and then Gushue went on to win the final. And it was probably the first time in my life playing at the trials with Kevin Martin and Cooey that I thought that, we weren't the best team there. We had a chance to win because when you have Kevin Cooey, you always have a chance. But if we played our best and those other two teams played their best, I felt like they were better than us.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think, being the favorite, I've been so spoiled in however many years with Kevin Martin and obviously a lot of years with Kevin Cooey as well, that when you're the favorite, everyone talks about, being the underdog. You sneak in there. Like, well, there's something to be said for being the favorite. Because if you're the favorite and you play good, there's a reason you're the favorite. It means you mostly win.
Well, and here's the thing. Sports is sports. What I love about it. And I said before you even showed up here today that you're the Tiger Woods of curling. And I say that, well, you laugh. But listen.
In the nicest possible way.
Yeah. Well, I meant on the field of play. But maybe we'll keep Benny around here for a while because there's a lot to get to. But my point is, you've won so much. If you retired now at 39, you'd have a Hall of Fame career.
Sure.
You know that.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't want to stop. And we're all watching what everybody's doing. I saw when Brady came back, you were celebrating on social media. Tiger coming back, you're celebrating because you get it.
Yeah, I mean,
the competitive fire never leaves you.
No, but I think I'm pretty self-aware too. Like you say, I've had a unbelievable career and super fortunate and worked hard and had a lot of breaks, all the good stuff that can happen to you. Hey, I've lost everything there is to lose too, by the way. Don't kid yourself. I've won a ton, but I've lost everything. But I think as long as I can still do it competitively and go out there a little pep in my step and have the chest out and play with that swagger, a little cocky and play good.
That's what I'm saying.
Then I'm going to play. Like I'm not dumb enough or nor do I want to play bad enough to go out there and start getting drummed up by other players that are surpassing me.
You won't be Terrell Owens coming back and playing fan-controlled football.
I will be long gone before that. And I think it's a testament to even though, I just got on a team with, in my opinion, the best second in the world, the best third in the world, and Brendan Bottcher, one of the best skips and up and coming for a 4-year plan. He's my pick. So for those three to take me, I don't have to sell myself. I just got, if they wanted to pick a better lead, they could have gotten anybody they wanted. So I'm thrilled about another opportunity to play with another stacked team and put a lot of hard work in and see where we can end up. And by the way, Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl at 44 gets me going.
You keep going. Yeah,
well, people always say, he's old. Ben's old. I'm like, I'm old. I'm 39. I'm in good shape. My body still feels great. And I'm like, if Tom Brady can quarterback in the NFL and win the Super Bowl taking hits, guys, I can sweep a couple rocks down the damn sheet.
Who says you're old?
No, just in the curling world. A lot of the good teams are early 30s, late 20s. So, I'm older. When I started curling with Kevin Martin, I was 22 or 23. I can't remember the exact. Kevin was 39.
We thought he was old.
My age now. I played with him for 8 years.
And we thought he was old. That's a good point.
So it's kind of funny. So now I'm 39, but the makeup of a team, my current team, Kevin being in his 40s, John, myself, BJ being older 30s, like, to build the best makeup of a team, you don't want to have all old guys. So to get a guy like Brett Gallant, who, I get to be the second best sweeper on my team finally, best thing ever. Brett Gallant's an animal. 6'3" animal.
Don't you win awards for being the best sweeper, though?
Yeah, I used to, but I'm gonna pass the reins to him now, and if I'm the second best sweeper on your team, I like your odds. So, having him is important, and having a young skip, hungry skip that maybe doesn't have all the accolades that me and Mark and Brett have yet, but we sure hope we can add to his trophy case. That's the goal here. So pretty stoked.
Speaking of losing as much as you win, I'm itching to ask you a bunch of questions. Hey, Moose! Can hear you. Thank you. That's how we talk to the boss around here. Bo Levi Mitchell has won 2014 Grey Cup, 2016 Grey Cup, so he's won 3.
He's won 2.
He's won 2?
2 Grey Cups, lost 2 Grey Cup.
Lost as much as you win.
Well,
See what I'm saying?
We had a great chat about this last night because he was over for dinner. Bo's family's in the States and my family's in Regina. So we're just having Bachelor Week here in Calgary. We wanted to golf all week, played Monday, and then we have a massive snowstorm here yesterday, brutal. So we're just, working out and having dinner together so we both don't have to cook, only mess one kitchen. But last night
what did you talk about? Yeah.
Well, last night we're watching the Blue Jays Red Sox, and we saw on 30 for 30, brand new 30 for 30 came out last night on Greg Norman, the Shark, about his meltdowns at the Masters and being chipped in on at the
like epic losses on the last day, you're saying.
Oh, and tiebreaker, like extra holes chip in, and me and Bo were like, we paused it. And I paused it because they were asking Greg if he thought about winning when he had a 7-shot lead going into the final day of the Masters. And I paused it. I'm like, I always think about winning. I'm like, if I'm in the Brier final this year against Gushue, 3-handed, of course we should have won that game. We were the better team without Mark Nichols. They had their full team. You're not getting that argument from me, but we were at advantage to win. We were the favorite. If we play good, we win. So, of course, I thought about the winning and celebration and what would happen if you win and all the good things that come with it.
Yep.
You never think about the losing. I don't. And Bo said, I don't really either. The losing doesn't hit you until you win, but you think about some of the good stuff that can happen if you win. But once you get to night before trying to sleep, but when you get on the field or when you get on the ice, it just goes away. You don't think about that ever until the last 5 seconds if the clock's coming down or the last end or the last rock, and then it hits you, and it's either like best feeling ever or almost a little bit of shock in those championship games. So I was saying to Bo, would you think about it as a 7-shot lead? Like he must have envisioned himself putting the green jacket on. And then Bo said, well, I certainly wouldn't because I'm so bad. But, we had a good chat about it, but it's interesting. Golf, curling, football, it's all relative to that.
It's all the same.
All the same.
That's why the mental strength coaches work with a variety of sports.
Oh yeah, no, it was a great documentary, by the way.
Yeah. So what did Norman say about the night before? What was he thinking?
He said he loved his chance to win because he was playing so good the first 3 days. But when it went through the documentary and the people that he talked to and the media and the people on the range, all the signs of a meltdown were there. And if you watched it in depth like we did, it was tough to watch. It hurt me as an athlete to watch. Be like, oh, it was a full choke fest. But he didn't know it when he was living it, but now he looks back at it. Yeah, but Greg Norman's had such a ridiculous career, and was he a billionaire from his Shark golf gear? Like he even said, it wouldn't have changed my life to win the Masters or not. I had a good life, and yeah, he's doing fine. And what is he? 70 years old. He's cut like a diamond. He's jacked. He looks like you now. He's shredded.
When he's in business again, he's
doing good.
Starting over. When I say I'm itching to ask you a bunch of questions, I guess we'll come back on the Bo thing and how he's looking and feeling. But the Sask Brier thing, I thought if there was ever a year to end the drought that goes back to 1980, Saskatchewan winning the Brier, this is it. You had Colton Flash there representing the province. You had Team Dunstone there as a wild card. And had Dunstone won, that would have counted as a Saskatchewan Brier, right?
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah.
And they didn't even get to the medal round, the playoffs.
Yeah, they had a good week. They beat us. They were our only loss, actually, in the round robin. They played great against us, and yeah, I don't know what happened to them.
What's the hold up for the province, man?
They got good players. But I hope they don't win for at least 4 more years. That's my goal here. So we'll see. I don't think it's a province thing or who's there. It's just kind of, the Brier's hard to win. And you got these top teams. You got a Brad Jacobs and a Bottcher and a Cooey and a Gushue hanging around. Tough for somebody to break through. But Colton, my ex-teammate, props to him. He had such a great Brier. He played amazing. I was super proud of him and his guys for breaking through. That's a breakthrough for them, even though they finished 4th. They played excellent, and I think the future of Saski curling is still bright with guys like, Colton and Braden and Kirk and guys like that, the Marsh brothers. So I think that eventually it's going to happen, but probably in 5 more years when I'm out of left, when I'm dodged.
So you don't know anything about Rick Folk leaving and hexing the Granite Curling Club or something like that? Because it's the longer it goes, you got to wonder.
Yeah, that's not a real thing. That's not a real thing. No one even really.
And hexes?
Nobody ever talks about it actually in curling. Like, it's never anything we talk about.
Watch TSN sometime. They're always talking about it on there.
Yeah, they recycle a lot of stories. They're due for something refresh there.
How was Lethbridge, by the way?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the best Briers I've played in.
Why?
Getting fans back in the building, feeling that, energy of what we've missed the last couple years. It was in the right place. Let's put it that way. Alberta seemed to be done with rules and regs. They put on a great show. A lot of partying. The patch was rocking. The building was rocking. Sold out. Crowd was amazing. Very knowledgeable crowd too. Cheering for Saskatchewan, cheering for us, Bottcher, Gushue, everybody just there for some great curling and entertainment. And the curlers put on a great show. There was tons of good shots, and epic place for a Brier. I got to play a world championship there too, and that won't be the last time Lethbridge gets the host. They did an amazing job. Well,
the old me, the devil in me, would say, what's the bread basket of curling? The Heartland, Sask or Alberta, but you could say both.
Both. Yeah. Manitoba probably flirts with it a little bit too, but certainly for me, I don't know. I would have expected it's tough to judge anything over the last couple of years because all the stuff going down, but yeah, Sask, Alberta for me are still the 2 biggest curling hotbeds for sure.
It's been a good move for you coming out here. How long's it been?
Been here since 23, 13 years. 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I still get home quite a bit, but it's starting to slowly turn into my home being here. My kids are
13 years of what? But I see how you get swept up in the Flames thing.
It's amazing.
And then the Stampeders thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. They get a good buzz around here for your sports teams when you do well, right? They really get behind you. And I know, being from Regina, it's all riders all the time, and they dip in the Pats a little bit. But, going to an NHL Flames game here when the Flames are rolling,
which they are.
Nothing. Oh, my God, they're so good. Nothing beats that buzz. And I got to develop some good relationships with some of the Flames and their people over the last few years doing some charity events. So, you got some personal ties to the players. You go cheer them. And, yeah, it's great. I love Calgary. It's a great city. It's been good to me.
Yeah. So, I mentioned the Stamps thing. You're always going to be a Rider fan, but when your best friend or close friend is the quarterback of the rival team, and you're saying, without saying too much, he's feeling good, it's not good news for the rest of the CFL, I would not think.
Yeah, no, I've had a few chats with him. He went down to the States in the off season, and I know he had some specialists looking at his body and certain injuries that he had to make sure that he was, it's his last year in his contract. He wants to play well and prove the haters wrong. And I've seen a little pep in his step, a little twinkle in his eye. He's feeling pretty good, and he says he's throwing it well. So it's exciting for him. You don't like playing hurt and having to juggle the media and all the he said, she said stuff throughout a whole season and having to dodge that. But I expect Bo to have a great season. He looks good. He's in great shape. Over last night, normally we'd have a whiskey or two, but he's on the straight water training this morning.
Training camp's coming up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So no, he's ready to roll, and I think they got Reggie Begelton back. They got KJ back healthy, and I think they got a good team. I think last year they were pretty young. When I asked him at the start of last year what his team looked like, he said they were young. He didn't say good or bad. And when I asked him what his team looks like this year, he's excited.
Yeah.
So I could see the Stamps coming back into Stampeder form this year. We'll see what happens.
Well, you've been here 13 years. Is that what you said? So, yeah. What I'm getting, I've been here a couple of months. I realize the Stamps are a far bigger deal in Calgary than I thought. I thought it was Flames here, Stamps here, and it's not really that. And they finished third last year. That's not sitting well with them.
No,
they didn't host a playoff game, right? They're like, you know what I mean? Like they expect to win, and they plan to win.
Yeah, well, you look at their run of quarterbacks that they had, whether Dave and
Pedersen also ran. Nobody talks about Henry Burris.
Seriously, right? And when he was in Regina, he was the mayor. So when you've had that kind of success, of course, winning. When you win that much, you expect to win. It's no really different than the curling teams I've been on. Once you've won and you've got there, second and third place and fourth place, that's no good.
And losing hurts even more.
Of course, yeah. When you know the taste of victory, losing sucked. But there's a lot of stamped decals here on vehicles. I think it's just a deadly sports town. Even when we curl here, we played a Grand Slam here this year, packed. Doesn't have to be curling or football or hockey. They get behind their athletes. I think when things are rolling good here, hey, oil's $100. City's kind of coming back. COVID's back. People are out. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be in Calgary.
It's been great for us. Calgary's entertainment destination is the Grey Eagle, and we've got Ben Hebert here. He is an Olympic gold medal curler. How many Briers you won, Benny?
4 Briers.
That's all?
Disappointing. Should have 6. Tragedy struck.
Of course, and now he's made the switch from Team Gushue over to Team Bottcher, which is seismic. And I said that we would get to some of the viewer questions, and maybe we'll do that now. Ben said he was open to that. Colin's watching in Ottawa. And in the chat, he says, where's John Morris going? Is he going back to strictly mixed doubles, or is he going to become a pitcher for the Blue Jays? Now that he threw out a first pitch at Rogers Center, what's Johnny Moe doing?
Johnny Moe's is going to the Hall of Fame.
He's done?
Yeah, I think he's retiring from the men's game. And I think he's still going to play a couple of years mixed doubles. I mean, he's a carded athlete. He was Olympian and still probably one of the best we have to offer in the mixed doubles game. Still likes it. You know, he's a marketer's dream, so there's still some sponsor dollars coming in for him. So he's going to keep it going a little bit, but 2 young kids. He's a firefighter. He's going to step back a little bit from the men's game. I know when we play our last event in Olds, Johnny said he's going to host a hospitality suite one night for his retirement and say bye to everybody. So he's looking forward to that, but I don't think he'll stray too far from the game. There'll be opportunities for Johnny, whether it be commentating, coaching, something. Just too smart of a guy, too much charisma to be disappearing from the sport. So that's
very popular for sure.
He's a beauty.
You got to answer something for me, please. Yeah. I heard that Kevin Martin ticked everybody off. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Went on his podcast and spoke about all these team breakups.
Yeah.
And I thought my thought when I heard that was, if you want to be big time sports, boys, that's how she goes.
Oh yeah. So many people were, curling's a very fair, nice, play nice in the sandbox sport. You get a bad reputation quick if you do something like that. But here's the thing. I know Kevin Martin extremely well. I run a podcast.
You get it.
100% I understand. Here was the thing for my team. I had talked to Kevin, BJ, and John prior. We knew we were done. I had once I had my new team solidified after the Brier, I had talked to all my teammates, told them where I was going, who I was playing with, called my sponsors. Way too much of a veteran to think that it was going to stay. Kevin Martin's son was one of the people that got told he wasn't playing with Brendan. So, obviously going to talk to his dad. Of course, Kevin's going to know. Kevin runs a podcast. Yeah. So I'm just too sharp for that. I got out in front of it. When it came out, I was like, eh. But yeah, there was a lot of people that never dreamt that could happen in the curling scene. So they hadn't told their teammates, mums and dads, brothers and sisters, families, and they weren't out in front of it. And so I think they were a little bit taken back and upset by it. Even a couple of my current teammates were a little rattled about it. But I just knew, I'm not surprised. Do I think it was right? No, Kevin's got weird takes on things. He thinks it was the best thing for all this exposure for sports and clicks and likes and impressions and that kind of media world. But Kevin doesn't care,
Good for him.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't.
Exactly. So I got it. I spoke to Kevin. He called me to explain. I'm like, dude, I get it. So it wasn't the end of the world. And now that the teams are all out, it's fine. At the time, people were a little bit upset, but no sweat.
I got a lot of questions from viewers, but I have a ton of my own. But I'm a longtime fan of yours, so I'm just itching. I'll get one more on the podcast thing. Well, it wasn't just the Cooey team. The Jennifer Jones team split up. The Dunstone team split up. Was it Gushue's team split up? Seismic shifts in the curling landscape, and they say that these super teams are being formed, and people have a problem with that. I don't. Is that true?
I mean, if you look at super teams, you don't look in Canada. Look at Sweden and Scotland. Those are super teams. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're grabbing 4 players from their whole country and stacking them up. But it was just weird. Like, every 4 years, there's changes. This 4 years was a big shift in how much European teams were winning. The last 4 prior to that, not as many. And then before that, it was all Canada domination, mostly all the time. So a little bit of a change there. So we needed to kind of crank up our competitive nature in Canada, grab the best players possible. And a lot of people aging out, a lot of teams that had played together for a long time need a little bit of a refresh. You can get stale playing with the same guys forever. And it just so happened that, once my team was done, once Mark Kennedy left Jacobs and Brad Jacobs took a step back and Brett Gallant left Gushue, then every team's done. Because the dominoes just fall from the top teams, right? If those 3 teams would have stayed together, I don't know if you would have seen as much as a shift, but just kind of the way it fell. But, now that I see the landscape and the teams that are being built, still lots of great teams. There's going to be tons of great competition. The women's side made some great changes, a couple really strong teams over there too. So, I mean, even as a player, One, am I stoked for my team? I love it. Couldn't be in a better place for myself. But I'm excited as a curling fan to watch and see how these new teams do, because you could struggle out of the gates. You could have to rally. You could come out like a lightning rod and dominate, and then try to hold that sustainability up top. Like, there's so many things that could happen. Like, yeah. But I'm excited.
What you just pointed out is sports is different now. Josh Donaldson's a Yankee. Carson Wentz is a Washington Commander. Deshaun Watson's a Cleveland Brown. There's the way it is now.
There's some business stuff out there that's important too, as much as, someone, I see these people on the internet, like the haters, like, oh, Benny talks too much, or, oh, they were sour at Brendan for cutting Darren. It's like, get real. Like we're not going to get along. You guys don't think that we know the people that we join with, that we play on the tour with for 10 years in a row? Guys, we got it. We know who we like and who we don't like. And at the end of the day, I was very fortunate to curl with Kevin Martin. I keep going back to him, but I was 22, 23 years old. I got to curl with a guy that was in his 30s and 40s who taught us so much. And hey, he wasn't our best friend. We didn't have to have hugs and kisses after every game and love each other. That wasn't how it was. It was a business. And we wanted to do was win. And guess what?
We won.
We killed everybody. Like, it was the best. Now, could you go back to those days because the competition is so deep? Maybe not. But you could get to Brad Gushue had an amazing season this year. One of the best seasons you could have in recent history because the competition is so deep. But to do that again, or to do what Bruce Mowat's doing and Nick Adine, that's what we're going after. So, hey, do I need to be best friends with Mark? No, I mean, he is my best friend, but, Brendan's 8 years younger than me. I don't need him to be my best friend. I need him to be the best skip and a great teammate, and we'll gel into a great team. Because when you win together, I could curl with my 3 biggest enemies, and when you win, I'm going to hug them and buy them a beer after. Because nothing trumps winning for me. And if you're on the other side of it and you'd rather play with your buddies, that's okay. That's just not me. I wasn't molded that way. That's just who I am. So for me to play with the guys I'm playing with, I don't know how to say it without sounding like boring, but I couldn't be in a happier spot personally going forward. Because having the chance, that's another thing too about sports. Sometimes you don't have the chance to win. We have a chance to win. You do all the work and you're going to work hard, then you can win. But if you build a team that even when you work hard and do all the stuff, you can't win, take care. I am out of here. But we got a chance, and that's what I'm thrilled about.
Well, speaking of all that, Jeff in Winnipeg, I like this behind the scenes of the curling world. All the best to you, Ben, and everything you do. Ted in Red Deer, how often do the curling teams train together if they live in separate cities?
Well,
that's a great question.
That's a great question. I think that's one of the reasons we're getting surpassed. Scotland guys have their own training center. The Sweden guys have their own training center. BJ Neufeld, who is our current third, great player. Kevin Cooey's here, John Morris and Cameron. We practiced together 9 or 10 times this season. From September to April. Season. These guys practice 5 days a week together. So another reason why I feel like when I curled with Kevin Martin, John Morris, Mark Kennedy, guess what? We all lived in Alberta. We would drive up there, they would drive here, we'd meet in Red Deer, we trained together all the time. We lifted weights together, we did fitness camps. We're going to do that again with this team. I think being able to train together, practice together, track your rocks, see your mechanics. I know it's weird getting into that depth of it, but if you're the skip, Roddy, and you put the broom down here, and my rock goes here and yours goes here, good luck in a game.
There's a problem. Yeah.
You need them to go to the same spot so you can get confidence in where to put the broom so you can ice read and effectively make more shots. So we're going to do that with this team. We didn't need to be told by Curling Canada, here's where you need to live or residency, or here's what we should try to do to win. We know. We know what we got to do to win. And so that's another reason I'm jacked up.
How did you feel about Brad Gushue complaining about ice conditions in Vegas after the gold medal game?
I don't have a lot of common with Brad Gushue. I would say we butt heads a little bit, but Brad Gushue's an unbelievable curler, and I give him full props for this season. He had an amazing year. I mean, they beat us in the Brier final with 3, which was embarrassing for us, but they played good. That wasn't on them. That was on us falling on our face. But I felt for Brad Gushue at that world champion. And I don't feel for Brad Gushue ever. Because he was playing so great and they were so dialed and they were playing well. And they just came back after a really good Olympics. And I talked to him after the games and congratulated him on bronze because I thought they put a really good effort there when they weren't really playing good, but they dug deep to get a medal, which I was proud for them. But that world championship ice, guys, we'd have a better chance of playing in a parking lot. Like what happened out there. I mean, we're professionals, if you could say it like that. We want to go out and we want to put on a show. We want to entertain. We want to make a bunch of shots. We want the crazy. We want to make an in-off double for 3. We want to draw the button for the win. It was impossible. So you're out there playing like a Tuesday night club game in the World Championship final. If it was me in those shoes, I would have been equally as irate. I defend Brad for those comments after that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's just as from me, I don't know. That's why I asked.
It was awful. It was awful.
But don't you think both teams have to play on it?
Sure, but it takes a lot of skill out of it. Like if you play in a
Grey Cup on ice.
Exactly. Different.
Fair.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, and you might want to stick around for our next interview because Byron Smith is here. He's been milling around behind you. He's climbed the 7 largest summits in the world and Mount Everest twice.
Ooh.
He lives here in town. He's going to be coming on next. Speaking of guys that have accomplished something. But your podcast, the Benny and Bo podcast.
Yeah.
We have to talk about that.
Sure. Well,
you're liking it, eh?
Oh, it was amazing. I'm feeling pretty comfortable right now chatting with you. It's no different when I'm with Bo, right? So, chatting about sports, being able to talk to some amazing athletes. We loved it. We had a great company uninterrupted behind us, but we're on hiatus right now. We were going to fire it back up right here in April. It's funny being in the business world now. We started doing it for fun, but then, sponsors and dollars and all the stuff comes into it and how much time you want to put into it. And with Bo in his last year of his contract, I think he wants to go full, blinders on here and get his arm and his body feeling great again and put on a good show here in Calgary and keep his career going. And for me, with a new team, there's a lot of logistic work to do at the start here. We're chasing, sponsors and finding our own new brand and getting to know the new team. And the podcast was a lot of work. We had to chase a lot of guests. We had to find some sponsor dollars. Half my basement was taken up by the studio, so my kids are pumped. They can play a little more hockey down there now. But we put it on hold. We do intend on bringing it back. But, it was amazing. We had some great exposure. We had tons of views. I was at the Olympic trials, and everybody was, I'm a curler. Like, I'm there to try to win. And most of the people in Saskatoon wanted to talk to me about my podcast and how much they loved it. So that was cool. And then when Bo went out to the Grey Cup to work for TSN, he was texting me. He goes, I didn't know anybody knew you in Toronto. I'm like, they don't. And he goes, not at the Grey Cup here. Everyone's talking about how much they love our show and they love you. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. So feedback was great. We had a great time. We don't know where it's going to go. I'm not going to lie, but we do know that we had enough success that if the right opportunity does come around, we would certainly bring it back. It's just not a good time for me and Bo personally right now to put that much effort in. We got to take a little bit of a break.
But people can go back and listen to old ones.
Yeah, they're awesome. Right? They're on Apple and YouTube, and we got some wicked athletes on there. Some really good conversations.
Benny and Bo podcast. But if I may, as a guy that hosts a podcast, I don't like when you have guests on. I just want to hear you two. You probably get that.
We do get that from lots of people. But the thing is, for us, we would have a genuine audience that would just follow me and Bo, and we'd get to a certain spot. But you know the drill.
I get it.
If you want more people to watch, you bring in other audiences. Like when we brought in Steph Labbe off the women's soccer team, our viewership tripled for one show. Soccer. Me and Bo don't exactly wheel and deal soccer, right? So we brought her in. It goes, our audience triples. And so then you're like, okay, well, that's why you have the guests. That's the business side of the pod. But yeah, me and Bo got enough stories and enough, we can BS enough that we don't need guests. But for me too, I'm a sports fan. Let's talk Kyle Lowry, Milos Raonic.
Yeah, that's cool stuff.
Like there was some wicked people on there that I got to meet that I never knew before. Lee Westwood, Corey Connors, super cool. And some local buddies. I got Mark Morris on there, and Cole Sillinger came on the show, and we talked to Getsy, and it was awesome. So we'll see. I don't know where it's going to go. I would love to do it again one day, but right now we're postponed for personal reasons.
You're a busy guy. You got lots going on.
That's right.
You're a winner. Ben Hebert, keep it up. Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, thanks, Roddy. Good luck with the show.
The champion, Ben Hebert. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of The Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.